The announcement came fast, almost too fast for the room to process. When Jamie Dornan was called to the stage as the winner of the night's grand prize, the reaction was immediate and loud. Applause erupted, cameras flashed, and for a brief moment, everything followed the familiar rhythm of an awards ceremony. Then something unexpected shifted the energy entirely. Jamie looked genuinely stunned as he stood, a hand briefly covering his face as if grounding himself. This wasn't a victory many had predicted, especially after years of him choosing quieter, riskier roles over crowd-pleasing performances. His walk to the stage felt unpolished, almost disoriented, as though the moment hadn't fully registered yet. That rawness alone made the win feel different. The speech that followed was short and unguarded. Jamie thanked collaborators, acknowledged the uncertainty that had shaped his recent career choices, and admitted this recognition meant more than he had anticipated. There was no grand performance, no perfectly timed jokes. It felt like a man absorbing a long-delayed validation in real time. While the audience remained focused on the stage, something else was unfolding just beyond the spotlight. As Jamie stepped away from the microphone, his expression still dazed, he didn't head straight backstage or toward public congratulations. Instead, he moved instinctively toward someone waiting just out of frame. That someone was Dakota Johnson. Witnesses later described the moment as surprisingly intimate, not dramatic, but unmistakably intentional. Dakota was reportedly the first to reach him, offering a quiet embrace and a few words no microphone could capture. There were no exaggerated gestures, no performative smiles for cameras. The interaction felt private, almost accidental, despite happening in a room full of people. That detail alone set social media on fire. Within minutes, attendees began sharing fragmented descriptions, not photos, but impressions. Fans latched onto the idea that Dakota hadn't just been present, she had been there, positioned close enough to meet him immediately. In a room full of industry figures, that proximity stood out. The significance wasn't about romance on display, but about timing. Winning a grand prize is a moment of emotional exposure, one where instinct takes over before image management kicks in. Jamie's first move wasn't toward agents, producers, or the press. It was toward someone familiar, someone safe. Those who had followed his career closely noted how rare that was. Jamie has always been careful about separating professional milestones from personal narratives. Even during past successes, he kept celebrations contained, controlled. This time felt different, as if the weight of the win broke through his usual restraint. Dakota's presence added another layer of intrigue. She wasn't part of the ceremony, didn't present an award, and wasn't positioned for visibility. That made her appearance feel deliberate rather than coincidental. Fans immediately questioned why she, of all people, was there for that moment. Speculation exploded, but so did excitement. Some saw the interaction as a simple gesture of friendship between longtime collaborators. Others argued that friendship alone didn't explain the closeness or the timing. The debate wasn't fueled by what was seen, but by what was felt in the descriptions that followed. What made the moment linger was how understated it was. There were no viral clips, no official photos released, no statements clarifying anything. The story grew purely through word of mouth, which only intensified its impact. In an era of constant documentation, the lack of visual proof made the narrative feel almost more powerful. As the night continued, Jamie returned to the public eye, smiling, thanking peers, fulfilling expectations. Yet fans fixated on that brief, unfiltered exchange. It became the emotional center of the evening, overshadowing even the award itself. By the time the ceremony ended, the conversation had already shifted. The grand prize was no longer just a career milestone. It was the backdrop for a moment that felt personal, chosen, and quietly revealing. Fans weren't just celebrating Jamie's win, they were questioning what that celebration, and who he shared it with, truly meant. As the night unfolded, the celebration moved away from the stage and into quieter spaces where cameras were fewer and reactions felt more genuine. According to several attendees, Jamie Dornan didn't seek out the usual congratulatory circle immediately. Instead, he stayed close to Dakota, sharing brief conversations and moments that felt unguarded. That choice alone gave the celebration a different tone. What struck people most was the contrast between the public and private energy. On stage, Jamie was composed but visibly emotional, carefully choosing his words. Off-stage, witnesses described him as lighter, almost relieved, laughing in a way that hadn't been seen earlier in the evening. That shift happened in Dakota's presence, and fans noticed. The absence of spectacle made the moment louder than any headline could. There were no posed photos, no deliberate attempts to be seen together. In fact, the lack of documentation suggested an effort to keep the celebration personal rather than performative. For fans accustomed to reading between the lines, that restraint felt meaningful. Online, interpretations quickly multiplied. Some insisted this was nothing more than two close friends sharing a milestone, pointing out that long-term collaborators often form deep bonds. Others argued that the context mattered more than the action itself. Being present for someone's biggest professional moment is one thing, being their first point of connection is another. The discussion intensified when sources mentioned that Dakota stayed with Jamie well into the evening. She wasn't seen circulating widely or engaging in industry networking, which is typical at events of this scale. Instead, her focus appeared singular. That detail shifted the narrative from coincidence to intention. Fans began revisiting past moments with new perspective. Interviews where Jamie spoke about grounding influences, offhand remarks about people who keep him steady, even past award nights where celebrations felt noticeably more restrained. The comparison made this moment stand out as an emotional outlier. Still, neither Jamie nor Dakota Johnson offered clarification. Their silence became part of the story, fueling speculation while also setting boundaries. In an age where visibility is currency, choosing not to comment felt deliberate. It suggested that whatever the nature of their connection, it wasn't meant for public definition. That silence divided fans in an unexpected way. Some felt it was confirmation enough, a quiet acknowledgement without the need for labels. Others urged caution, reminding everyone how easily assumptions can spiral into narratives that overshadow reality. The tension between excitement and restraint mirrored the moment itself. What made the celebration resonate wasn't romance or rumor, but authenticity. The way Jamie reacted to the win felt unfiltered, and the person he chose to share it with felt instinctive. Fans responded not to proof, but to emotion, the kind that can't be staged. As days passed, the initial frenzy softened into something more reflective. The grand prize remained a career milestone, but it also became a symbol of transition. Jamie's win marked recognition, but the way he celebrated it hinted at priorities beyond trophies and headlines. In the end, the moment didn't answer questions, it raised them. Was this a glimpse into a deeper relationship, or simply a testament to trust between two people who understand each other? The lack of certainty is what keeps fans talking. Sometimes, it's not the celebration itself that matters, but who stands beside you when the noise fades. And perhaps that's why this story endured. Not because of what was confirmed, but because of what was quietly revealed. Their silence became part of the story, fueling speculation while also setting boundaries. In an age where visibility is currency, choosing not to comment felt deliberate. It suggested that whatever the nature of their connection, it wasn't meant for public definition.